Hi, welcome to the best pay-per-click training. Just a quick, actually basically a free excerpt from our training talking about the how to increase the quality score on Google AdWords. So first we need to understand some facts about the quality score. The score for a broad keyword or phrase keyword is the same as the exact match keyword. So what that means is that when you put in a keyword into Google AdWords and it gives you that 1 out of 10 keyword score, that's going to be exactly the same if you use the exact match version of that keyword. So that's important to know because if you're trying to optimize for, keywords such as kitchen cabinets and, your website is, kitchen cabinet refacing, you're probably going to get a really low quality score, even though the topics are very similar. Because the exact match for what it's looking for on your website isn't necessarily kitchen cabinets, it knows kitchen cabinet refacing when it's crawling your website. And then the other thing is the quality score determines where your ad will rank on the page and directly affects your cost per click. So I put in the little equation here. This is provided by Google. It's the quality score times the max cost per click, which is typically what you would set, or sometimes they'll actually use the automatic bidding, which is some users' preferred bidding. But you can typically get better costs and much better ranking if you use the manual maximum cost per click in each ad group. And this equals your ad rank, which is basically your position on the page. So so not necessarily like you don't want to get one as an ad rank, you want to get the highest ad rank, and that's basically who's going to appear number one on the right hand side. And then to be in the top three, you have to optimize for your quality score, which that's a different tutorial, and we'll go through and explain how that happens. But here's an example. It says a 2 out of 10 quality score times $6, which is the maximum cost per click for an ad group, equals a 12 ad rank, versus 4 out of 10 times $3, which would be 12 ad ranks still. So there you can see why optimizing the quality score is important. So if you're actually getting a 2 out of 10 or a 1 out of 10, you even probably get a little warning message that says we're showing your ad infrequently because of a low quality score. So that's important then because as you can see, you're going to pay significantly more anyway, even if you try to keep running your campaign at this point. So taking the time to go through and optimize your quality score is very important. It can save you a significant portion of income. All right, so we need to understand the factors. So the 1 in 10 score determines your relevance to the ad and the keywords within the landing page your ad points to. So I said ads here because you obviously want to have multiple ads. So if you notice that when you're setting up an ad group, you go in and put the landing page URL along with the display URL. You'll see in there that gives you suggested keywords. So Google has actually gone and scanned or basically crawled your web page, the page that you put in for the destination URL, and has looked for what it believes are relevant keywords. So that just to let you know that that's a hint right there when you're setting it up. If it's not giving you the keywords that you want, that it doesn't think the topic of your website is what it is. So yeah, and there are also over 200 factors involved in the quality score, which are not public knowledge. Google doesn't share that. They allude to it even in their training. If you go through the certification training, they tell you what some of it is. Mostly, you're going to have to talk to a certified expert, which I am, in order to figure out what those factors are in order to improve your quality score. All right, so here's some of the main factors we found out. The relevance of the ad to the ad group keywords is incredibly important. That's basically Google saying, okay, when somebody sees this ad, does this actually have to do with the keywords within the group? And the closer they are, the better. So you'll see if you've done any research, people will say, you'll see the same tip. Put your keyword, the main keyword that you want, in the title, and then repeat it throughout the text. But it's also saying that, okay, so if I have an auto mechanic shop, I put an ad up there that I'm an auto mechanic. I can't have an ad group full of every type of service that I offer as a mechanic. I mean, logically, you or I would say that makes sense, but the way the Google rating system works is that's not going to make sense. You want a different ad group for each one of these services so that when you're putting in keywords about that service, that's going to improve your quality score because those all relate to one another and they relate directly to an ad if the ad is about transmission repair. Even though you might be able to do transmission repair and auto body work. If you've got the auto body keywords in there, it brings all the quality scores down for all the keywords in that group. So So you'll see here that was the next point, relevance of the keywords in the group to each other. That is incredibly important. Uh, and then you'll see here the third point, the click-through rate for the keyword in your account. If you have a brand new account and you have no account history, what it's going to use is it's going to use historical data based on the average click-through rate for other people advertising for that keyword. So if your competitor is doing a really bad job and you're trying to use the same keywords, even if you start out of the gate, your initial results aren't going to be as good as they could be if your competitors had highly optimized campaigns. But that gives you, just so you know, that gives you a benefit so that when you know right away if your competitors have really low quality scores, because maybe you can line up everything based on these tips that we have, your quality score is still low, you run your campaign for a week, with a brand new account, all of a sudden your quality scores are up, your cost per clicks are really low. So just so you know, that's that indication right there. And then the area you're targeting related to geographical keywords in your account. That's only really important if you're targeting specific areas, like say you're a local business and you're trying to target a specific region. If I'm in Boston, Massachusetts, and my keywords are about Boston, or maybe I cover a couple different states. I did targeting for a couple different states, but what you should do is separate each keyword group to be targeting that state. And also, if you want to target different services in different states, or even different services that you offer in each one of those states, you should do a different ad group specifically for that state, specifically for that service. That's going to significantly increase your quality score. All right, so here's just a couple tips that we have to use your keyword as the title text, which is the first 25 characters. Make sure that it is as much of the keyword that you're trying to target as possible. So if you're an accountant and you're trying to offer bookkeeping services, don't put an accounting firm. People aren't looking for an accounting firm if your keywords that they're offering are bookkeeping services. Put bookkeeping services as the title. Um, especially if you can attach a state to that, say you're specifically focusing on Massachusetts, MA is a good abbreviation, so MA bookkeeping services, um, Florida, FL bookkeeping services, California, CA bookkeeping services, anything like that. Because think about it, your searchers, if they're in a local region, they're going to say whatever town, the initial of their state, or even the name of their state, which Google's smart enough to match the two, so you don't have to worry about that. The initials work fine, and you can capitalize them. I highly recommend doing that. People know that CA or FL or any of those state names, like C or CO for Colorado, if it's capitalized, they're aware. The user is aware that that's an abbreviation for a state, so that's fine. And Google's aware of it, which is the most important part. So go ahead and put that in the title. So I'm sticking with the bookkeeping services, CO bookkeeping services. Below that, in the next two lines of text, do not use a company slogan in the text. That's the worst mistake you can do. This isn't a branding campaign. These people are looking for answers now. So the best thing to do is put common answers in there to common questions. If you have somebody that constantly asks, do you serve this area? Put it in there, serving the greater blah, blah, blah area, whatever it is. Or if you only service certain counties, put it in there, serving the blah, blah, blah county. Things like that. If the business you're in has to do with licensing. Say you sell nationwide, put in an offer, free shipping, what makes you unique, if you're an auction site, you get so many free bids with a sign up, or the purchase of a bid pack, if it's one of those things where you have to buy the bids, anything like that. Just make sure it's something that's unique about you. Basically, every business is unique and has something unique about them. That's where you want to put that in. And you obviously only get 70 characters to do that, so, try to be, as short and sweet about it as possible. And then the other, most important tip we found that this actually works, it's uncommon, but in the display URL, you have the www.yourwebsite.com. You can add a slash like here, and then actually put your phone number. You don't necessarily have to put dashes in it because you do only get 35 characters in this line. So you can get rid of the www out of the display. Just have, yourwebsite.com slash, and then the 9 digits for your telephone number, and that's fine. excuse me, 10 digits for your telephone number, and that's perfectly acceptable. Most people will assume that they'll be able to recognize a telephone number, especially if it's a local number, and most people assume that that's some way of showing you your website and your telephone number for contact information. And as long as the destination URL is just, www.yoursite.com and it doesn't have your phone number at the end of it, it's going to go to your website without a problem. So the display URL doesn't have to match identically to the destination URL. Just remember the domains have to be the same. So if your domain is, cobookkeepingcompany.com, you're probably not going to have any space for the website at the end, which is fine, but you can't abbreviate or shorten anything in order to be able to fit that phone number in there. So it has to say cobookkeeping.com in the display. It also has to say cobookkeeping.com in the destination. The page name you put in the display, which is after the slash, doesn't have to match where it lands. That's acceptable. Okay, so the next most important thing is how do you organize your keywords? This can make a huge difference between getting a 10, 2 out of 10 quality score and an 8 or a 9 out of 10 quality score. So the format that we recommend is listing, the common word first. So if you'll see here in the second bullet point with the slash marks, we put NH Manchester Accounting Firm. So what this is New Hampshire, Manchester Accounting Firm. Location, state, and then if you just want to focus on a local area, put it next. And do this consistently. So if NH is Manchester, another big one's Concord, another big one's Portsmouth, another big one is Nashua and Salem. You would use all those, whatever you pick at the end for accounting firm, accounting services, accounting, whatever. It has to say accounting something because accounting is too general. Accounting, think about the word accounting. If you just put, NH Manchester Accounting, that could be somebody looking for accounting tutorials, accounting classes, accounting services too, which is exactly what you want, or even anything anything they can think of. Accounting, do you need accounting certificates for Manchester, New Hampshire? Be aware that that can happen if you're not very specific about the action you put at the end or the description that you have at the end. So NH Manchester Plumbing is the other one that we have in here, plumbing company, NH Manchester Plumber. I put this in here at the end specifically because it's clear that the person is looking for Manchester, New Hampshire, and a plumber. A plumber's a plumber. You're looking for a plumber. Ta-da! Here's the ad. But either way, this is very clear, and you'll find that sometimes you'll have a low quality score for something like this, but if the keywords match very closely, you'll rank very, very high anyway, even if you only have a 3 out of 10 or a 4 out of 10 quality score. Chances are competitors have a significantly lower quality score, or they have to try to find and append even more words to the end to be able to show up and compete with you. So, understand that. If you sell nationwide, don't worry about the location. If you're selling in the USA only, don't put USA. Nobody searches like that. They just search locally. They narrow it down that way. So just stick with the service or company type and a descriptive word. So if you sell say you sold, slippers, specifically felt handmade slippers, you'd put handmade felt slippers. Those are the kind of keywords that you want to stick with. And then what else? If you're in manufacturing, say you manufactured microchips, which is called wafer dicing and things like that, you would want to do, wafer dicing service. So wafer dicing service, not just wafer dicing. That could be anything. Anybody could append something, some sort of information keyword to the end of that search, and your ad would be showing up, and they could click on it, and that's what wastes you money. It does improve your click-through rate, obviously, if more people see it and click on it, but chances are is that you're going to get in front of a lot more people that aren't looking to buy anything. They're going to ignore your ad because they know that you're trying to sell them something, and they're just looking for information. Basically, tire kickers. So, good luck. That was our example. Feel free to watch this as many times as you'd like. or go to our website and give us a call. We do one-on-one training. We do account reviews with you, and we're more than happy to answer any questions that you have and help you get on your way to successful advertising through Google AdWords.